You're giving your buddy the tour. 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. The master suite is bigger than your first apartment. There's a theater room, actual recliners, 120-inch screen, chef's kitchen with the waterfall island. You're watching his face. He's impressed. You can see it. This is what making it looks like. But let's rewind. 2019. You're the one being toured. The realtor, Laura, super friendly, she's walking you through this same house. Great bones, she says. The schools here are top rated. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a lifestyle. The asking price is $650,000. You make $145,000 a year. The mortgage calculator says $4,800 a month. The banker says that's perfectly normal for your income bracket. You sign the papers. 30 years. The longest commitment you've ever made besides marriage. And unlike marriage, this one comes with a penalty if you want out. My name is Mike, and today we're going to calculate the actual cost of the American Dream home. Not what Zillow tells you, not what realtors promise. We're going to run the numbers on what it actually costs to buy a house you can't afford in a neighborhood you're performing for. But here's what you're not telling Dave. Let's go back to where this started. March 2019. You and your wife are the ones being walked through this house. The realtor's name is Laura. Super friendly. She's got this whole pitch. You're not just buying a house, she says. You're buying a lifestyle. The schools here are top rated, best in the county. Your wife squeezes your hand. She loves it. The kids are running between rooms, calling dibs on bedrooms. Your daughter wants the one with the bay window. Your son wants the bigger one. This feels right. This feels like what you're supposed to do. The asking price is $650,000. You make $145,000 a year. You pull out your phone right there in the kitchen and run the mortgage calculator. At 3.5% interest, you're looking at $4,800 a month. That's 33% of your gross income. The banker later tells you that's perfectly normal for your bracket. Plenty of families do it. You qualify. The paperwork goes through. Closing day. You're sitting at a table signing documents, page after page. Your wife signs next to you. The mortgage is for 30 years. 30 years. That number sits there on the paper. It's the longest commitment you've ever made besides marriage. And unlike marriage, this one comes with a penalty if you want to leave early. But you don't think about that. You think about the kids having their own rooms. You think about hosting Thanksgiving. You think about what your parents will say when they see it. You sign. She signs. The house is yours. What you don't know yet is what Laura didn't mention, what the banker didn't put in bold letters on that payment calculator. But 2024 is coming, and 2024 brings a bill that's going to make $4,800 a month look like the easy part. The first property tax bill arrives in January 2020. You're sitting at the kitchen table. You open the envelope. $14,000. Annual. You read it again. $14,000. That's $1,170 a month. Laura mentioned taxes. She said, "Of course there are property taxes," when you asked. But she never said the number. You never asked for the number. You just nodded and moved on to the next room. You pull out your laptop, open a spreadsheet. Time to see what this actually costs. Mortgage payment, $4,800. Property tax, $975 a month. Homeowner's insurance, $250. The HOA fee, $100. You forgot about that. It was in the closing documents, page 47. Gas and electric for a 4,200 square foot house. You check the last 3 bills. Average is $400 a month. Then there's maintenance. The rule of thumb is 1% of the home value per year. That's $6,500 annually. $540 a month. For things that break. Things that wear out. Things you didn't think about. You add it up. $4,800 plus $975 plus $250 plus $100 plus $400 plus $540. The total is $7,065 a month. You make $145,000 a year. That's $12,083 a month gross, before taxes. $7,065 is 58% of your gross income, not 33%. 58%. The banker said 33% was normal. He was only counting the mortgage. Your wife walks into the kitchen, sees the spreadsheet. "That can't be right," she says. You wish she was wrong. Fast forward to 2024. Mortgage rates have jumped to 7.2%. You've been thinking about refinancing. Maybe lower the payment, stretch it out longer. Anything to get some breathing room. You call the bank. They send an appraiser. He comes back with a number, $620,000. Your house is now worth $620,000. You paid $650,000. You owe $610,000. You're underwater. Not by much, but enough. The bank won't refinance when you're underwater. You're stuck. And here's the thing that makes it worse. Your 3.5% interest rate is actually good now. If you could refinance, you'd be refinancing into 7.2%. Your payment would go up, not down. So you're trapped with a good rate that doesn't matter because the total monthly cost is crushing you anyway. This is 2024, and the real crisis hasn't even started yet. You're looking at the college savings calculator online. Your daughter is 8 years old. She'll be 18 in 10 years. The calculator asks how much college will cost. You type in $200,000. That's conservative. The calculator asks how much you can save each month. You look at the spreadsheet. After the $7,065 for the house, after groceries and car payments and everything else, there's about $200 left. Maybe. You type it in. The calculator shows you the result. In 10 years, you'll have saved $24,000. Not $200,000, $24,000. Your daughter will need student loans for the rest. You bought this house so she could have her own room, so she could go to good schools. Now she'll graduate with $176,000 in debt. Your wife's phone rings. It's her mom. There's a medical bill, something insurance didn't cover. $5,000. Can you help? You open the checking account. There's $2,300 in there. Payday is next week. You tell your wife you'll call them back. You don't call them back. You can't say the words. We can't afford it. Not to her parents. Not after buying a house this big. What would they think? July. Middle of summer. The air conditioning stops working. You call 3 companies. They all say the same thing. For a house this size, you need a new system. $8,000 to $10,000. You ask if they can just fix it. They say it's 15 years old. It's done. You don't have $8,000. You put it on the credit card. 23% interest. That adds $200 a month to the minimum payment, on top of everything else. Your wife is sitting at the kitchen table when you come home. She's not crying. She's not yelling. She's just sitting there. You sit down across from her. Neither of you says anything for a while. This isn't her fault. It's not your fault. You both wanted the house. You both walked through it together. You both signed the papers. You both thought this was what you were supposed to do. But now you're both seeing it. The house isn't protecting your family. The house is threatening your family. And neither of you knows how to say it out loud. So you just sit there, quiet, scared. Your company sends out an email. Subject line, organizational restructuring. They're cutting 20% of staff. Your department is on the list. Nothing's final yet, but it might be. Do the math in your head. If you lose your job, how long can you last? You check the emergency fund. $2,800. That covers one mortgage payment. After that, nothing. Month 2, you'd have to choose. Pay the mortgage or buy groceries. Month 3, the bank starts the foreclosure process. 3 months. That's how close you are. You drive home. There's a for sale sign at the Peterson house. You slow down. The driveway is empty. Yesterday there were 2 cars. Today there's nothing. You park in your driveway and walk over. The curtains are gone. You look through the front window. Empty. They're gone. The Petersons had the same house as you. Same neighborhood, same mortgage, same great schools everyone talks about. They had 2 kids. Emma was in your daughter's class. Past tense. Was. Dinner that night. Your daughter isn't eating. She's quiet. Finally, she says it. Why did Emma have to leave? She didn't say goodbye. You look at your wife. She's looking at you. Neither of you knows what to say. Your daughter is 8 years old. She doesn't understand foreclosure. She doesn't understand what happens when you can't make the payments. She just knows her friend disappeared. Can that happen to us? She asks. You want to tell her the truth. You want to say yes. Yes, it can happen to us. We're 3 paychecks away from being the Petersons. But you can't say that. Not to an 8-year-old. So you lie. No, honey. We're fine. Your wife doesn't say anything. She knows you're lying. You know you're lying. Your daughter probably knows you're lying. But nobody says it out loud. You all just sit there. Quiet. The house feels too big. The payments feel too heavy. And your daughter just learned that families disappear. That's what this house is teaching her. You have lunch with your coworker Tom. He mentions he just maxed out his 401k for the year. You ask where he lives. Same suburb, same school district. His kids go to the same elementary school as yours. You ask what his mortgage payment is. He says $2,400 a month. You almost choke. Your payment is $4,800. Just the mortgage. He lives in an 1,800 square foot house. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. He paid $380,000 in 2019. Same year you bought. His total monthly housing cost is $3,800. Yours is $7,065. You do the math in your head. He's putting away $2,000 a month that you're not. Over 5 years, that's $120,000, plus growth. He's got $180,000 in retirement accounts. You've got $5,000. His kids have $60,000 in college funds. Yours have 0. Same jobs, same schools, same neighborhood. He just drives past 4 extra bedrooms to get there. Bedrooms you don't use. Space that costs you $3,200 a month more than his space costs him. You think about Laura, the realtor. She never said, buy the smallest house in the best school district. She said, buy the lifestyle. She said, you're not just buying a house. The mortgage broker never showed you the $380,000 option. He showed you what you could qualify for. $650,000. Maximum. Because his commission was based on the sale price. They needed you at $650,000. When he said, we can make the numbers work, what he meant was, we can stretch you to the limit of what you can technically afford on paper. Not what you should buy. What you could buy. Not stupid. You were sold. And the product they sold you was your family's future. That night, you tell your wife. We're selling the house. We're downsizing. She looks at you. She doesn't argue. She doesn't ask if you're sure. She nods, like she's been waiting for you to say it. The house isn't protecting them, you say. It's the threat. She squeezes your hand. I know, she says. I know. 6 months later. The new house is 1,900 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 office. You paid $380,000. The total monthly cost is $3,200. That's mortgage, tax, insurance, everything. You're putting $2,000 a month into the college fund now. Retirement contributions are back on. The emergency fund is at $15,000 and climbing. You walk into your daughter's bedroom. She's arranging her stuffed animals on the bed. The room is smaller than her old one, but she's smiling. "I like this room, Dad," she says. "It's cozy." You look around. There's no theater room in this house. No formal dining room you never used. No bonus room collecting boxes. Just 3 bedrooms and an office. You use every single room. Nothing's wasted. Weekend. Neighborhood barbecue. One of your old neighbors shows up. He heard you moved. "Man," he says, "heard you had to downsize. Tough break." You look at him. He's still in the big house. Still stressed. Still working overtime to cover the payments. You shake your head. "Not a break," you tell him. "A choice. We weren't losing the house. The house was losing us." He doesn't get it. You can see it on his face. But your wife is standing next to you. She squeezes your hand. She gets it. Your daughter's playing with the neighborhood kids. Emma's not here. Emma's somewhere else now. But there are new friends, and your daughter is... That night, you're tucking her in. She looks up at you. "Dad," she says, "are we poor now?" You smile. You sit on the edge of her bed. "No, baby," you say. "We're not poor. We're rich. We have what matters." She doesn't understand yet, but she will.